Hi, I'm Andy Tyler, Partner Marketing Manager at Repit. Welcome to Apps in the Spotlight, featuring a Repit partner with a live app in the AgencyCloud app market. Joining us today is Kevin from Real Media, who's going to talk about their app, FluxPro. Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hi, Andy. Thank you very much for yours as well.
Let's start with what industry problem your product is trying to solve.
Yes, okay. Really, I suppose it's from two angles, one for the consumer and one from an agency perspective. At the end of the day, agents at the minute are using technology that's effectively 30 years out of date. PDFs is mainly where brochures and pitch packs, whatnot, are produced on. So that technology, that PDF was never designed really for smartphones and for tablets, etc. So having to view any content is a difficult thing. And if you're a modern consumer and if you're not getting the content that you want literally within a second or two, you're going to go. And there's stats and figures out there to say that if it's not easily accessible within a second or two, 70% of those people leave. So we're really, the first thing is to bring in some new technology that is fit for purpose as such. And the experience that we give now is experiential experience. People these days we're like goldfish. When we come online, you want your content instantly, easy, etc. And we deliver that immediately. And it's more of an experience rather than a long read of a brochure. And it's fast and it's efficient. And that's sort of from the consumer perspective. And then really from an agent's side of things, that modern marketeers these days, they really need analytical feedback, and PDFs and print don't give you that feedback. So now you can have content or feedback that goes along the lines of what country people are coming from, where they're viewing the content from, how long they're staying, what's the most relevant content, which were the pieces of content that they were most interested in. So we can give all of that information back. And then more so over the last year or two, certainly throughout the pandemic, new technology has come to the fore. So you've got your 3D tours, you've got your video, and you've got interactive mapping. All of those lovely new technologies have all come to the fore. And up until now, there's been no way of presenting that in a sort of a high-end form. You either have to send out your 3D tour or you send out your video individually. So with FluxPro, you can now bring all of that technology together, present it in a nice package format, whether that's a brochure, you can have your image gallery, you can have your interactivity, your engagement in there, but bring in all of the 3D tours and the videos, etc. So what we deliver is high quality compared to what you would normally get in a PDF.
So tell us a little bit more about your product.
At the moment, FluxPro is made up of, I suppose, three products. First one is to do with pitch packs. The second is market appraisals. And the third would be interactive brochures. And to give you an example how those work and how they work within each other is that, for instance, when an agent receives a request for a valuation, and there's generally going to be other competitors pitching for that particular property. So our tool, which is the pitching pack, it's a bit of a teaser that can go out to the vendor prior to the appointment. And it has really nice features about what you do as a company, the areas that you cover, etc. A bit like a corporate brochure, but it is animated and it's engaging and it stands out. It's that first point of call, which really sort of leaves that memorable impression. Second product that we have live at the minute is our market appraisal. So you've gone and you've done your visit. Afterwards, you need to leave that document or send them that document with the pricing and the marketing, etc. As far as we can see, a lot of agents are still sending PDFs or letters, etc. So again, that memorable experience is to give them an interactive document that outlines in a bit more detail. So it keeps the interest, and it again shows your forward thinkingness in terms of the technology that you use. And then the third part of it is the brochure itself. So as I mentioned earlier, that brochure contains whether that is a 3D tour or a video, again, it's memorable, it stands out, leaves a positive impression. And from a vendor's perspective, if that agent is the only one coming along telling them that you can have a brochure that's filled with animated content, whether that's the mapping, it's the amount of the images that you can put in there, it sets them apart from the competition.
You have a live app in the AgencyCloud app market. How does it work?
Well, what we do is we connect with the information that's in AgencyCloud. As an example, when an agent takes on a new instruction, a new property, they've entered all those details into AgencyCloud, and we effectively bring that information down to our digital publishing platform. And it can be set up as preset templates where, for instance, on a brochure, that information gets populated into certain fields, makes it really easy for a brochure to be created. And it's dynamic, it's instantly done. In terms of updates, why we connect to AgencyCloud is that if, for instance, a price needs to change on a brochure, then they just change that in the platform, and it instantly filters down through to the brochures, to pitch packs, etc. that you need to do. And it's all done in a few minutes.
Does the app push data back into AgencyCloud? And if so, how?
Yeah, so we push back a URL into the marketing URL within AgencyCloud. And from there, the portals and websites can pick up that URL. So for instance, if you've just produced a new brochure, then rather than having to copy and paste that link into your portal, it automatically goes into the particular section of your portal and it's instantly viewable. Secondly, we also populate the activity log as well. So an important, I suppose, from a management perspective, that if a brochure has been updated or removed, then you can see exactly in the activity log how that works. So the activity log seems to be growing in importance within AgencyCloud. And
presumably that means that you'd be able to report against that within AgencyCloud. So you could do parareporting or something similar to pull out the properties that have used your services.
Absolutely, and for onward analytics or for marketing purposes, that ability to write any content back, I suppose it opens up a whole new world for the future in terms of what AgencyCloud and the agents can use that data for.
What's the competition like in this space?
We would probably see ourselves more as standalone. Like the inevitable, there's going to be competition everywhere at some point. But if we were to identify what our competition is, it's probably those outdated flip books and PDFs that are standard in agency at the minute. And those sorts of documents, as I mentioned earlier, are 30 years out of date. So competition, yes, that's what we would call it. Is it really a competition for us? I don't know, because we create something that's completely different, standalone. As far as we can see, there is nothing else out there. We're certainly the first within AgencyCloud to develop an app that fully integrates in there and allows us to potentially collaborate with other integrators in the future.
What makes your product stand out from the competition?
We have a unique product is the first thing. It is built within the AgencyCloud platform. There's no real training required. There's a little bit of onboarding, but it's an easy process for your teams to use. One of the big advantages of us, certainly for multi-office networks, is that the brand control. And we do hear a lot that agents are finding that with multi-branches, different areas are doing different things, slightly going off piste on the brand, whereas FluxPro keeps everything tight and controlled, and the marketing teams can monitor that control. And when a brochure or a pitch pack needs to be created, it's done so within the confines of the brand.
What does it cost?
It's based on usage more than anything, and you could start from as little as 375 for a month, and that gets you so many pitch packs, so many brochures, and so many market appraisals.
What are your plans for the future for the product and for the app?
For the future, yeah, a lot more integrations, a lot more collaborations, as I hinted at earlier there. We have three main products at the minute. We have brochures, we have our pitch packs, we have our market appraisals. Adding to that would be collections and portfolios, but taking them a stage further than just having a collection of properties. These would be bespoke, so they'd be tailored to an individual's requirements. And also, we're delving more into the analytical side of what we do. For instance, it would be really good in the future if a market appraisal went out to a vendor as such, and the agent was notified of that. Similarly, for the portfolios, if you had a portfolio of say 10 properties, the agent would know which property the prospective buyer would be most interested in, and then they can tailor those conversations towards that particular property.
Finally, is there anything we haven't mentioned that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, it's more, I suppose, reiterate what we've been talking about. Certainly from the brand control perspective, that these days that there's a lot of, say, editing tools out there, a lot of software that allows agents and their offices to maybe go off piste more. So what FluxPro does is has a very controlled environment, and where you do what it allows you to do. Also, I know it's cliched, but we're here to help agents win more instructions, reduce costs, etc. But as we're a unique product, I think that we make that process easier. And I suppose I'd like to thank AgencyCloud as well for allowing us to take part in the foundations and the ability to develop software like this, because other than that, it would be a more difficult process. And look, we are working with Reapit, and it's Reapit clients that are going to get the big advantage in using FluxPro.
If you'd like to find out more about FluxPro, you can do so on our website at reapit.com/foundations/partners. And if you're interested in installing the app, all you need to do is contact your customer success manager. As with every app in the app market, installation just takes seconds. And that's all for this episode. I hope you found it useful. Until next time.